What is up, Honey Badger Nation? This is John Kitchens, and welcome to episode 163 of Expert Mentors. I'm looking forward to this conversation. It's one that I've honestly been looking forward to have for quite some time. So, nonetheless, we've got some awesome fellas on with us from Canada. What's up? What's up, guys?
How's it going, JK? Man, that intro, there's a lot of big leaders and influencers on that. That got me fired up. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you guys making the time, jumping in. And we had a little scheduling thing. Something opened up. I told Iva, I said, reach out to Brandon, say, I want Brandon and I want Greg on. Let's do this. So I appreciate you guys jumping in.
Yeah.
So what's up, man? Give everybody kind of listen in a little background. Brandon, I know you were on like episode in the 70s, like 75, 2 years ago, almost exactly 2 years to the date. And
almost to the day,
a lot has changed in that time frame.
Yeah, a lot has changed. I mean, I remember that interview because we were down in Vegas at my first EXPCon. And you decided to interview while I was there at the event, which is pretty cool. And the memory just came up today, and I actually shared it on Facebook. So lots changed, a lot of growth, a lot of personal growth, team growth, and yeah, it's crazy where we both came in 8 and 4 or 5 years that we've been in the business. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Share the story. You know, I think it's a pretty awesome story, the two of you and how you guys got connected, and we'll bring it up to kind of current reality how things stand today.
Shoot that to Greg.
Yeah. So Brandon, if I might refer to him as Towner a couple times. So if that's who it'll be if I'm talking about him. It's hard not to do that. It's hard to call you John too, because it's just JK automatically.
JK,
too,
that's it. That's right.
Yeah. So Brandon was mine and my wife's agent about 5.5 years ago. And my wife and Brandon grew up together, small town, about 20 minutes from where I live now. And so we had Brandon in. We had interviewed a few different agents. Brandon's sister-in-law was actually the maid of honor in our wedding. And so I would give Brandon a chance. He absolutely destroyed every other agent and with presentation and the same presentation that we're still obviously doing today with a few different tweaks that we've made of our own, but basically the same thing that we're still doing now. We closed that deal, and Brandon gave me a call around Christmas that year. We had closed in November, just after we got married. That was the fall of 2016. We went out for a lunch, and I had my real estate. I was signed up for my first real estate course about 2 hours after that lunch. And so worked together at independent brokerage for 2 years. And then Brandon went to EXP, like you said, about 2 years ago in June. And I went to another independent brokerage, did some solo agent stuff. And we did that with purpose. We did that so that we would be able to look at different models, really see what it takes to be individual agents outside of a team, and what people want as far as growth. So that if you're going to be on a team forever, some people want to be on a team forever. Some people need that insulation. Some people want to be a solo agent because for whatever reason, it fits their lifestyle better, whatever. But we wanted to have that perspective. And so we each went and did that for a year at 2 different companies in order to gain the most perspective that we could. And that kind of brings us into where we're at now. I came over to EXP at the start of this year. That was a transition point. Just made sense to do it at the full calendar year and start moving our team that we've had the vision of for the last few years in the right direction. So yeah, our team's MillTown Property Group. So it's a play on our names, but it's also a play on like the small towns that we grew up into. So really we put a lot of thought and time and effort into that of something that we wanted to be able to grow and believe in and get behind. And I'll kind of just toss it back to Brandon on kind of the growth of the team and where that's been constructed since the start of the year. He can touch on that a little better, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Go ahead,
Brandon,
John.
hey, so with and Greg, kind of share a little bit, kind of your first 12, 18 months in the business, right? What, when I first met you, kind of the role that you were in within the team structure, the team model. I think it's kind of important to understand that because of the skill set that you developed during that time.
Yeah, for sure. So as I was a social worker before. So as I was transitioning out of that, I started to take on like a part-time ISA role, and then realized quickly that I could probably keep my head above water as an ISA, and with a small wage, but also with being incentivized that after probably about 6 months, I was going to be full-time agent anyways. So that's what I did. I quit my full-time job, went into full-time ISA role with our independent brokerage, and continued that from about April of 2017. And then I was fully licensed in August of 2017, but kept in the ISA role basically until the end of that year, and then started dropping some personal deals and stuff. But worked all the company gen leads on the ISA side and passed them off to Brandon and our other agents. So yeah, you're right. I mean, I was trained by one of the honey badgers, Nick Krem. Krem was I was Krem's first full-time client as far as doing, and I didn't even know that until like last year. And but yeah, so we did half an hour a day for a long time on the phone, and just really going over dials and how many dials we're getting in, and where my weak points and my choke points were. And yeah, I mean that training has allowed me to now train our agents at that same level and be able to give that back to them. And then I quickly transitioned into agent. I think I dropped probably 9 or 10 deals from September to December of 2017. And then 2018 was my first full year, did 10 plus million in my first full year. And then 20 plus million in 2019, 2020. And it's going to be over 30 million this year. So that's been my quick escalation to where I'm at today.
How important do you think, building that foundation and building those habits and that skill set, was for your career and moving forward? I mean, you're a very personal guy. I mean, you have a lot of connections. I mean, you would have been successful no matter what, but how do you think, sitting in that role, being a part of a team, sitting in that function and developing that skill set, has helped your, exponential, your growth as an agent?
Yeah, it's probably 4 or 5x better than it would have been without it, right? I mean, it just would have been a lot more on the treadmill, a lot less like laser focused on the daily priorities and the daily activities that you need to do. Their vital functions as a real estate agent, I mean, and your vital functions as an ISA were things that I really took very seriously on hitting goals week after week after week and increasing those goals. When I talk about, one of the agents on our team asked how many dials were you doing a week, and I'm like I was doing 200, 300, 400, 500 a day, and that was just like kind of eye-opening. That's kind of eye-opening, right?
You didn't know any better, right?
I didn't know any better, and I was just like, well, I got 60 hours in a week. I can get these in and still be productive with it. But yeah, I think that it definitely propelled it by 4 or 5x. Like I think it probably would have taken me till maybe now to do 10 million. Had I not surrounded myself with agents with producing agents that were heavily involved and in real estate full time. I think that's a massive thing as well, of who you're going to surround yourself with. who's going to be on your team as who you're following as leaders of people being in it full time, so that you can be training with elite level people all the time. So yeah.
Yeah, that's powerful. So Brandon, how have you guys, taken those daily habits, those daily activities, and carried it into your organization and kind of crafting and designing the culture that you guys want to have and the culture of MillTown?
Yeah. So first of all, that was, obviously the first challenge was doing everything virtual with COVID being COVID. But it turned out to be an absolute blessing for convenience. But taking that into our team and ensuring that we're holding everyone accountable, right? Getting acceptance of accountability is super crucial, and it's not an easy thing to give or receive. And so making sure that we're holding people accountable the right way is number one on the list. Ensuring that we're always repeating those goals on a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly basis. So we're just about to go into our 2022 goal setting. So we're going to have some hefty goals. We're going to have to make some big commitments, right? It always comes back to those commitments and what we're going to commit to for the next 30, 60, 90 days. So ensuring we're always coming back to those, covering those again and recommitting to those goals, especially if we're falling short on some of them. What do we need to do to get back caught up or reevaluate and reestablish new goals? So you taught us all that. And so we take that to our team and we carried that through, and we've had no issues. And we have an amazing culture within our team. In the short amount of time, I think we officially launched MillTown maybe in March, and we have 11 agents total on the team right now. So we've grown pretty quickly and exponentially, in my opinion. And hopefully we continue to grow with the right people.
How has I'm sure that's been a little uncomfortable, growing that quick, right? And especially coming from an organization that you guys didn't look at trying to increase headcount at a high level. So,
Correct.
How has that adjustment been for both of you?
Well, it's funny because we were at an event on Monday, 2 days ago. Albie flew in from Cleveland, and we did a Double Your Business event. And he actually sat back down with us at the end of it, and we spoke a little bit. So that was cool. We had about 5 minutes. But we talked about that. We talked about the old model and the partnership model, and how we were all these brokerages and teams within a brokerage were trying to grow and have just as few agents as possible that sold the most amount of homes. And the problem with that model is obviously that if your top 2 or top 3 agents leave, it can be very catastrophic to your bottom line in your business. So sure. The mindset that we have now, and it's not necessarily hire anyone and everyone, because it's certainly not at all, but we want to grow exponentially. We want to keep recruiting and keep adding agents to our team, the right agents with the right interviews, making sure that the right core value fit, the right culture fit. And so we can continue to grow, so we can continue to invest into our business, our MillTown Property Group team, so they can have better tools, better marketing, better lead generation, all that stuff, better client experience. So we can just keep reinvesting it back into our team.
Yeah, such a great point. I mean, it really is. And, we've always said that, the number one flaw in the team model is that your talent comes out the top, right? And they don't have any place to land. They end up they'll outgrow the organization if the organization isn't continuing to push and grow. And so it was the mistake we made, in the Lawton office, not always having our foot on searching for talent, right? That should have always been our number one priority. And, I think we fell into that false belief of, and it's like a badge of honor, right? It's like, oh, our agent productivity, we have the highest productivity per agent. That's like, is that really the goal? Like what's the goal? Is that really the goal? And I think, not being tougher on ourselves and understanding that the model has to be elastic to the vision, right? So, I believe with all my heart and soul that, as business owners, we deserve the best vision that we can create and design and want for our business. And then from there, that's where the model has to be elastic to that vision. So when people are rigid in the vision, my question then becomes, is your vision on point, or is your vision off? So share a little bit, for you guys, what that vision is that you guys have for MillTown, and then we can back into, what we're doing to execute on it.
Yeah, I'd have to jump in. So first off, I didn't actually answer your question earlier, and growing this quickly has been very uncomfortable. That's the truth. We don't have it all figured out. And I think that if you're waiting, what I've learned from the past is that if you try and continue to wait till everything's perfect to grow and make that next step, you're never going to get anywhere. And you're just on this constant treadmill. You're going to stand still. And so we said, let's just grow and we'll figure it out from there. And so we are figuring it out from there, and it hasn't been perfect and it isn't comfortable. And we both are still heavily in production, and we're trying to figure out how to not necessarily get out, but bring that back a little bit so we can put more effort into growing this out. So the vision for us is I think just that right now. It's trying to take a step back from production and put a heavier focus on adding the next hires to our team. And the truth is we did this so quick that we don't have a super long-term vision or goal yet set. Yeah. That's the truth.
I think that one thing that was really cool though is we actually did a clarity exercise with the coach a little bit ago, and that clarity exercise, our visions of what MillTown looked like in 3 years was like, and we haven't even really talked about this, so I thought it was really crazy that it was this, because I thought that I honestly thought, I mean, JK, you know this, that Towner thinks way bigger than I do, and like that's like, I'm like, he's gonna want like 9,000 agents, and we're gonna have this, like, we're gonna be at the CN Tower, like downtown, like, you know what I mean, like, and but it was exactly the same. Like there was the same number of people in our organization, and our vision was to take care. The overall message of both of us taking that and doing that clarity exercise is that we wanted to take care of as many people around us as possible, and provide through growth. And I don't just mean through fiscally, I mean through growth, through changing and bettering people's lives who are either like the wives and kids, or the husband and kids of the agents working with us. We want them to all have a better life. And that was like, so I do think that is going to lead us to what our vision is, which we're probably going to hash out literally next week. But
6 weeks the week.
So we've been putting that off to I think to get clarity, because I think the one thing of our old model versus, I mean, the new model that we're a part of is that and I mean, you've talked about it tons about the Lawton office too, is you're just like drilling and try to make those 5 or 10 agents in your office, these everyone's going to be a $15 or $20 million producer. And like, that's just not, I mean, the one thing that's eye-opening to me is that like, not everyone wants that. Not everyone cares to do that.
Right.
And so we have a very different, as you get more and more agents, you have a very different echelon of where people want to be in the next 1, 2, 5, 10 years. And thinking about and trying to help one person on your team grow in a certain way, and then trying to help this other person who wants to do what we've done and do that insane amount of deals. And so being able to really look at each individual's personal structure has been something very eye-opening too, because it was just very drilled into us before, right? Of like this, there's only one way. And I think that there's more than one way for each individual to be able to run their business and still be productive in the way they want to. Just have to help them grow in the way they want to grow.
Yeah. And people listening in, I don't, when I say vision, don't overthink it, right? Vision is 3 parts. It's your values. It's how we behave. It's the purpose that the company exists. And you guys just go back and watch, the last 5 minutes, Greg, what you shared. I mean, all of the nuggets are right in there. And then, the third part is, what's the goal, right? What's that big, hairy, audacious goal? And, it's hard to set something, 10 years down the road. 5 is typically a really good, a BHAG. And those 3 things make up the vision. But what the vision does is it gives us a known direction to make better decisions. So as you're trying to figure things out, you're like, okay, well, are we cool with this? Does this move us closer, or does this move us further away? And if it moves us closer, then you're like, okay, well, let's try it. It could be wrong, but at least we're making the best decision possible in pursuit of what we're trying to accomplish. And I think that's, really, really important for people to understand. We've got to have a known direction. If not, it becomes this circular world that we live in, right? It's just like Groundhog Year, right? If we don't have that known direction, we could have this conversation in 12 months and you're going to be it's going to be the same rinse and repeat. And, when we have that known destination inside the vision, the goal is from A to B. And then, obviously that's where the plan comes in to solve all of the bumps and the pitfalls and all of the things that we run into in pursuit of getting to the vision. So, it's awesome. I love hearing that, from you guys. And then, also, being real, right? I ain't got to figure it out. We're just going to figure it out along the way. But at least I've got the people around me that I want to ride with to figure this out together, which is really cool. And, in the previous organization you guys were at, you guys were leaders within the organization. And I know that's really important to carry over for both of you and pouring into and cultivating the leadership. So talk to me a little bit about that, of how you guys have designed that within the culture, within the organization, and how you're pouring into your people.
Greg?
Yeah, I think a really important piece to this is that there's not a lot of teams with 2 team leaders. I don't think. Not in our area, anyways. So I feel that we understood each other at a really fundamental level, and our level of trust with each other is very high. And it took about 2 or 3 weeks of us both trying to do some things. And we just kind of both put our hands up and we're like, okay, you're going to do this and I'm going to do this. Like, stop the madness. Stop letting Brandon try and do things that he either doesn't like or is less good at than me. And the exact opposite way, right? Like, I'm sitting there just banging my head against the wall because I feel that I'm letting him down. And I'm just like, dude, we just had to silo that. And we define, and we've talked about this with a lot of people and the agents that have joined the team, is that Brandon is a visionary on our team, and he needs to have those big thoughts and do that so that we do move that along. And my role is more like that day to day of like nurturing our team and training them and trying to help them through deals and do all of the things that are the daily stuff, that the daily problem solving stuff. Obviously he supports in that too, but that's how we divided and conquered quickly, I think. And that allowed us to move at the speed of trust. By just Brandon knowing that, okay, Greg said, like, I go find the ideas and then we'll bounce them off each other and then we'll go from there. But
I think we have a lot of people on our team. I think everybody wants to be part of something special. And so you asked about how we create leaders. I think everybody wants to lead at some point in their life. They want to do something special, like I said. And I think that everybody, like Greg and I, are good at different things and have special, they're special at different things. And so I think that we give ownership to some of our agents and let them take on ownership and commit to that and be the leader at specific tasks within our organization. And we see who comes out on top. And what they really want to do and what they're good at. So I think that's what we've been trying to figure out as well too with a lot of them, and it's starting to work out really well.
Man, I love that. Thank you for sharing that, because if you're listening in and you're like, man, I want to, because I'm definitely a pro partner, and so how do you figure that out? And it's exactly, Greg, what you just said, right? What are you good at? What are you proficient at? And what do you love, right? Where's the passion, right? It's proficiency and passion. And how can we match that up and not fight to try to develop a weakness in ourselves? Where the weakness is identified is, okay, we need a who. we need somebody to do that. right? I don't need to do that. That's not what I'm the best in the world at. And I dang sure don't love doing it. So it's really cool, but also, giving yourselves both permission to talk through that and not feel like, oh, I've got to do that. No, you don't. Like, if that's not what you love doing, I don't want you doing that, because that's not sustainable. And that's where, that's where, the friction, comes in, is that, if we're not on the same page, believing in each other, believing in what we're trying to accomplish, then that's where we'll run into a lot of unnecessary, frustration. So just making sure everybody is on the same page. And, I mean, I haven't had the chance to catch up with you guys in a little while, but, I know how well I can just imagine what the culture is. And I meant the culture is probably awesome, magical, and really caring about people, because you guys both do just a tremendous job at nurturing and building relationships. I mean, both of your book of business is off the charts. So what do you guys, how do you feel about that from a relationship perspective? How do you coach, lead, train, pour into your people to focus on relationships? Like, please, just kind of unpack that a little bit for us.
Well, we talk about relationship building all the time. We talk about both relationship building with our clients and the other agents within our industry. I think one of the biggest things that agents in our industry miss is that relationships with the realtors are just as important as relationships with the clients, because we're speaking with the realtors more than we are with the clients. And so I think that's one thing we teach right at the hop, just as an extra nugget there. But we're constantly sharing the Google reviews that we're receiving, the good stories, the referrals, and why and how we've been getting them. Specifically, Greg is really good at this. When he gets a referral, he'll explain why he got that referral and what he's been doing, and that it wasn't because he brought someone a coffee yesterday. It's because he's been doing 15, 20 things over the last 3 to 4 years, and now they're giving him referrals consistently. So I think it's really about relationship building. And we spoke about earlier in your career, and the first 2 years of my career were grinding, right? I hit the phones every single day. I didn't have a book of business. I had no repeat clients. So I'm in there every single day doing the daily tasks you need to do. You need to make your calls. You need to set your appointments. You need to go on your appointments. You need to sign clients. Repeat every week, right? Set new goals. And so once you start getting a book of business in a sphere and start building a past client book of business, you can really start cultivating those people into relationships. And I think that's where 95% of both of our businesses come from. It's from our sphere and referral business, which is incredible. So Greg, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, I just think that, I mean, everyone on the team, all the new agents on the team, so eight out of the 9 other agents are brand new within 2021. And all of them at one point or another have just realized that the hard part of this is the acquisition of clients. Doing the deals ain't hard. Doing the deals is the easy part. Mm-hmm. Like that's the fun. That's the easy part. It's making sure. And the one thing that I know, like we've all talked about it in our books being so strong. And so a lot of people might think that our books are 500-600 people deep, but it's not. They're 150, 200 people deep. But you treat those 150 so well, and you treat the top 20 or 30 who are your referral sources to an exponential level where it just is a natural flow for them to be referring business to you, because they trust you. They trust that you are going to put their family and friends that they're putting in your hands in a really good spot, and that you do care. And so we're really trying to focus on, for those who are wanting to build some bigger business and do it at a quicker pace. We're really trying to focus on those touch points with those books of business. Who knows, likes and trusts you already, and who can you show that, hey, that's great that Jimmy, we don't have a Jimmy on the team, that's why I'm using Jimmy. That's that Jimmy just got into real estate, and I mean I like Jimmy a lot, but like, the guy probably doesn't know what he's doing, right? Like, not yet, at least, right? So empowering them and just really saying to use us as leverage, right? Like you guys talk, I mean, JK, you talk about leverage all the time. So like we're empowering them to leverage us so that then they can leverage their book of business essentially. And then obviously there's online leads and stuff in there too, but we all know that if you can create that sphere that it is the people who are going to support you forever, you're going to be in a lot better spot than trying to chase a new client every 365 days, because we've watched that happen and it's painfully mind-numbing to watch.
It's hard, right? And it's focusing on the wrong thing, right? The whole transaction treadmill instead of focused on building lifetime value and creating the experience. Greg, what are some of the things, Brandon, what are some of the things that you guys do on a consistent basis that you're nurturing those relationships? Like number of touches? Is it, do you have is it just ad hoc, random when you see it? How intentional are you? Like what are some of the key points that you guys focus on and really try to pour into your team to do the same?
Go ahead, Brandon. What do you do? What do you do every day, Towner? What's the first thing you do?
Well, every day I start my day off by jumping into send out cards and sending out 2 or 3 cards, probably on average a day, to people in my life. Not necessarily past clients, people in my life. And so I'm really good at connecting with people because I think that's what it's all about. I sent a client, instead of texting him or writing on his Facebook wall on Thursday, and this stuff it's not necessarily scalable. This is some extra stuff, but I picked up my phone and sent him a voice video message, happy birthday. And he actually called me back and he's like, I showed that to my fiance. She thought that was the nicest thing that anyone's ever done. Nobody did that for me today. So
nobody will do it.
He's never going to forget that. His name's Adam. He's an amazing person. And I felt like doing that for him that day. And so just things like that really go a long way, that people think you need to go and spend $300 or $400 on somebody when, it could be a great gift and they might already have that gift, but it's all about how you make them feel. So you can do things for nothing. But we still have our touch points throughout the year. We have the birthdays, we have the anniversaries, the Thanksgivings, the Christmases, stuff like that are givens every single year that I like to make sure I get in front of my clients for. Those are things that I specifically do.
Yeah, I've really, this JK is like, I've came from a place where obviously my fiscal amount has changed. And I think being able to, one of my big things was that if I ever made X, that I was going to give a certain percentage back and put that back into something that's not even like directly related into to business at all. So I've been running a charity now for 5 years. So it's growing exponentially. Brandon's been involved in it every year. It's pretty awesome. That whole charity event has never directly given me business. Like no one's just walked up to me at the barbecue. There's 500 people at the barbecue. No one's just like ever walked up and been like, hey Greg, do you want to sell my house next week? Like that's not the way it works. And I feel that so many people, when they're just like, they're going to like give a sponsorship to someone's baseball team and then like the coach doesn't list his house with you and you're like completely like people would get rattled by that. But like if you look at deposits, and Albie was actually talking about this on Monday as well, and putting the deposits back into the people who are doing good things in life, even if they're not your clients.
Yeah.
Like I gave $400 the other day which is nothing, but I'm just saying I gave $400 to someone who was they're doing an amazing job with their children of involving them in things within the community that's very inspirational. They're going out and supporting a bunch of different charities and are doing a lot of things. And her aunt's a realtor. Like I am never ever getting her business. Never. It's never happening. Like I've tried, it ain't happening. But I know that she will talk about me and she will do things to support me back, right? And without asking, there was instantly a MillTown tag on that. Like I didn't put the donation in as MillTown, but she went out of her way to like make sure that we were recognized and blah blah blah, right? So I think a lot of people are looking for that immediate hey, money in, money out, and that's not the way it works. And if you can develop that mindset and just if you put it out in the world, you're going to get it back some other way. And so yeah, I've focused a lot on support of people within my book of business. We're going to be sponsoring the junior hockey team up here. We just sponsored a couple baseball teams, and I was playing in the tournament last weekend. So like doing those things that has a direct impact. I'm only saving every guy $40 on the team, but like it's a MillTown team now, right? Like, so it's making those things and just getting that, being able to do those things is really cool for me, because I always looked up to those people who were able to give back to me when I was a kid. And so, yeah, to be able to do those things is pretty cool.
That is cool, man. It really is. And what's MillTown right now? What are you guys seeing that's working outside of, focusing in on the sphere? What are some additional legs of the business that you guys have to, to help with lead flow and other business?
Go ahead, Tommy.
Yeah. So we have online lead generation, Google, Facebook, leads come in, connected to, we actually specifically follow a boss for our CRM. We looked at a bunch of different ones that seem to work the best for us right now. I've looked at a few others that are pretty cool, but works for us right now on the size of our team. And so that primarily is one of our biggest inbound lead gens. We're going to start really focusing on Google. So we've been upping our Google reviews. So we're going to be going all in on that pretty soon here. I think we went from 45 reviews to 120 in 10 days or something like that. So we'll ramp that up to 200 hopefully in a few weeks, and then we'll be going all in on that. That'll be a big thing coming up for our agents. So, but that's really where we are with growth. We are still a very small, early team revenue wise, right? So you add as you grow, and so that's what we're doing right now. We're looking at some key hires: transaction social media coordinator, operations manager. Those are the next 2 hires that are coming in. We have interviews starting Friday. So we're really in these early stages. So we're at the, I don't know if it's the fun stage or not. Maybe it's the not fun stage. It's a lot of work.
It's all fun.
Yeah.
Always.
I think.
Go ahead, Greg.
I think the other thing that that we definitely encourage and is the leverage off of our listings too. Brandon and I have I've had a ton of listings over the past year. And we've been listing heavy, both of us, with the production numbers that we have, which is great. But they're getting new agents out to do the things that make you, like, getting uncomfortable, right? Getting out and door knocking. Like you're out there the first few times you're door knocking, and like it's nerve-wracking hitting a door and opening it and asking and talking to someone about the house you just sold and doing all of those things and inquiring if there's any interest there, or if they know someone. Obviously you guys know the scripts, but like doing those things and being able to encourage like circle dialing still, right? And circle dialing is a really hard thing to do for a lot of people. I'm sure that you've gone through that with your coaching clients, JK, of some people just hate it, right? And they and some people are completely fine with it. But it's a form of prospecting that is not instant gratification. So it becomes a harder thing for a lot of other people to do. But and we talk about building like a balanced business, right? I mean, ideally you're building so that you're using those online leads and using door knocking and using send out cards and flyers and all that stuff to fill in the gaps of your sphere until your sphere can get to a point where where you can just be nurturing that over and over and over, and that becomes your nurturing process then. But you got to grow that sphere, and you got to get experience to do that. So those are other things. We still encourage the daily things that are maybe not so glamorous as well, because
we have a lot of new agents, so we're teaching them all the things that we did that worked.
Yeah.
Right. We went back to the basics. We have, like Greg just said, 8 of the 9 new agents we have are new agents to the industry, not new agents to our team. We went back to the basics. This is what works. We have time to do it. You're not doing 2 deals a week. Let's get down to the nitty gritty and do this and hustle. And let's put in 2 years of hard work. And as you progress and sell more real estate, our promise to you is we will start and continue to add more things and more lead generation into the business for you. So this is like a pipeline that's going to continually go up, and that's what we're doing right now. And so everything's working out really well. It really is.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, it's getting agents to come in that are willing to commit to the process, right? Having the courage to work through it, and staying in the fight while they're developing those capabilities, that skill, and then the confidence will come, right? Confidence comes with victories. We've got to get them victories, and then that confidence will grow. And it's there. We talk about it all the time, right? There's I believe there's a code and a sequence to anything and everything in our lives, and so you teaching those fundamentals are the beginning pieces to that code, right? To that combination. And but first, it has to start with the commitment. So finding people that are willing to commit, and knowing that it's gonna be a little scary, just like you guys committed to growing this business. It's scary, right? It's uncomfortable, but you have courage to stay in the fight and keep moving forward. And you're learning. Both of you are learning every day, right? You're learning something new every day, how to be a better leader, how to be a better marketer, how to be just a better human. And, you're going to just keep stacking those victories, and the confidence will grow. You mentioned something about kind of that balance. I mean, both of you guys have, young families. And so starting a new business with the young families, I mean, how have you guys been able to navigate family and the new business and new team members? How has that process been for both of you?
For me, I'll touch base on that. We talked about that before the call. It hasn't been easy. Balance is very, very difficult. And I think that you should be doing some type of balance check at least once a year, figuring out, where you're probably the most level and where you're not, figuring out how to make that wheel a little bit more round, right? We've done that exercise a few times with you, actually. But it's putting that personal time in the calendar. When you do your Sunday planning, it's putting that personal time in the calendar first, and then making your week out from there. And so that way you're ensuring that that's getting in there, because it's way too easy to fill your weeks up with listing appointments, calls, open houses, showings, training, you name it. It's way too easy. And then all the things that come up and blow up in your face every single week because you're a real estate agent. Right. It happens. Right. So making sure you put that personal time in first.
Yeah. And I just think the overall big growth of this, and this is something that I didn't do early enough in 2020, was share with my wife, Jess, of what 2021 was exactly going to look like, and what Brandon and I were like. This is something I probably should have shared in April of 2020, when we knew that this was going to be the eventual plan for the start of 2021. And I made a massive mistake of not sharing the vision of what MillTown was going to look like, how that would buy me back time, because I mean, in her mind, and this was just miscommunication, multiple miscommunications probably, but of showing that, hey, growing a team is actually going to be able to buy me back more time eventually. And because I can help other people grow within that. And those are the things that I want to do. And that's what I like doing. Right. So that was something big, but over this year has been the best year. That's been the best year of my life for sure. Been able to spend a ton more time with my daughter. I'm having full days and full nights just cemented in the calendar that are committed to that. The team's amazingly respectful about that too, which is awesome. Evans is almost 3 now. So that's, yeah, I know it's crazy, but yeah, it's, I think that we're actually doing Sunday planning on Sunday mornings now, because for Jess, that's when she needs it. She can't do it Sunday night. She needs to do it Sunday morning so that she can start planning for her Monday. I mean, she works a 9-to-5 job at a school, right? So it's really accommodating the people around you so that everything can be flowing together. Because being great at work and bad at home is not great, and being great at home and bad at work is not great either. Yeah. So you got to really structure that so that you can be the best or close to the best, at least more often than not. So yeah.
Yeah, it's man, I love you guys sharing that. I mean, it's the process, right? I mean, you want to have the most productive week that you can. It takes a little bit of, being intentional, and just like you said, Brandon, right things, right order. That personal stuff has to go in first, right? And that's where a lot of agents mess up, is that they don't put that in at all, and it's all just work in there, and there's a ripple effect, right, to everything we do. And, that's, you have to understand that, that's like, it's like when something happens, right? The car breaks down, but you knew well before that there was something going on with the car and you just didn't get it taken care of. So you can't be shocked when the car breaks down. And that's the same thing with our lives and with our business. Like, the warning signs are there, right? Are you, what are you doing about it, instead of just, reacting when it happens? So just allows us to be a lot more intentional, man. You guys, things are rolling, things are, a lot of victories stacking up for you guys. What is it that you guys are the most excited about, wrapping this year and moving into 22 and beyond?
Go ahead.
All right, I'll take it. Yeah, it's tough having three people on.
Yeah.
The thing I'm most excited about is honestly getting together with the team in the next probably 30 to 40 days and figuring out what their goals are. As we haven't done that as a full team yet. We haven't had that opportunity to. We were growing fairly quickly and adding one at a time, where we were kind of doing that with the agents as they came in. So we're super excited about that. I want to see what everyone's goal is and how we can help them achieve those goals. That was one of the best things that I did as an agent on a team. So I'm excited to see what their goals are, and then collectively what our 2022 goals are going to be. Because I don't know yet. So I've been thinking about that for a while, and I'm really excited to see what they're going to be. I'm excited about that, and the truth is, I'm really excited about the growth of EXP. This is super cool, and it's insane, and I think there's a lot of good stuff coming up in 2022. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, for me as well. I think that being able to understand, I think that with a lot of them having almost at least 6 months to a year in the business now, I think that they can make real goals for themselves too, and that's going to be really cool to see of where they picture themselves. And I think that some of them are going to probably shortchange themselves on their goals because their capability levels are off the charts, and are doing the right things to have a massive business in real estate. But I also think that celebrating the wins of this year. I mean, two of us have hit milestones that we probably didn't think we could ever hit this year, and which is crazy as far as deals closed, as far as volume executed, volume closed, and all of those things. So I think it's really cool to know that you can get to the top of the mountain if you want, if you really do the things that are correct. And I mean, there's like we didn't, neither of us like grew up in a sales family. We didn't like come from, neither of us came from money. Like there was no like massive advantage for either of us going into this business. So like we should both be fairly big proof in the pudding that like if hard work outworks talent, hard work wins every time, right? And that's what we prove on a daily basis, I think. And try to inspire for those who choose to, right? So
yeah,
like that. That's the truth, man.
That's awesome. Well, man, like I said, I really appreciate you guys making the time, jumping in. I always love connecting and chopping it up with both of you guys. And it's seeing where you guys were when I first met you, to see where you're at, and just know the sky's the limits for both of you and the organization and the people that that you guys are leading. So
I want to say, just before you let us off, honestly, we really appreciate you, John. We wouldn't be in the position we're in without you, without your guidance, without your coaching. I remember the early days when I met you and humbling beginnings. I knew nothing. I knew nothing, and you've helped us come a long way. So we really appreciate you at a very high level. Thank you.
It's awesome, man. Thank you.
There's a lot of your sayings on my whiteboard still, buddy. So yeah, we do really appreciate. I actually put in your post. I put in your post you wrote, one of the posts you wrote on Facebook the other night, and I put it in the group. And I think that someone thought I had wrote it because sometimes I write longer stuff like you do as well. Just not as well. But I put it in there, and I was just like, no, that was not me. That was so we appreciate you a lot, man.
That's awesome, man.
See you in Vegas, bud.
Cannot wait. Be good to connect. So thank you guys. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you guys reach out to Brandon and Greg, MillTown, give them lots of love, and can't wait to see you guys on the next episode. We'll see you.
See you guys. Thanks, John.
Bye.